Hi everyone, Mel here. So I've moved location because I couldn't find the light switches for I was in the conservatory. That's why if you saw me at the beginning of the session, you'll see all the lovely plants and garden around me. So first of all, what I'm going to do is to tell you a little bit about what I might talk about in this video. So I've just done a live on the Oracle cards. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing with the Oracle cards and what you can get out of it. A bit about the travel, the simple life and simple days that I'm recording on YouTube, and some of the podcasts on the sort of personal development industry and travel that I want to share with you. So first of all, the Oracle card sessions is every day I release a card, and it is one card, one message. And the idea is that if you tune in and to any of the cards that I've released so far, the title might appeal to you. So sometimes something that attracts our attention, there's a reason for that. And I wanted to sort of say a little bit about why I choose the Oracle cards. I do use the tarot occasionally, but I tend to use the Oracle cards because, like the tarot, they work with our unconscious by providing a bridge between the conscious awareness and deeper layers of our experience that lie beneath everyday awareness. They offer a symbolic medium that can become a focal point for curiosity, exploration, and inviting reflection on what is seeking attention, expression, or integration. The significance of oracle cards lies not just in the object itself, but in the relationship that develops around it, allowing for deeper understanding of the self and the world around us. So I blend spirituality and psychology into all the different strands of work that I do. And so I'm using the one card, one message a day, because sometimes it in an arena where we are bombarded by so much information every day. We've got our phones, we're constantly scrolling, looking at emails, working, thinking about the shopping, everything we've got to do. We rarely get time to slow down and pause. And it's in the slowing down and pausing, whether that's through mindfulness, meditation, just taking a breath and having a coffee and sitting in the garden, where sometimes clarity and insights come. And in particular, if we get into a place where we're wrangling over something that's quite stressful or a decision we're trying to make, that's when we often go and seek clarity. And there is a plethora of people online who are doing tarot and oracle card readings. Now, I've been watching them a lot for the last 2 or 3 years. One, I've always had an interest in tarot. I've used it sort of myself, played around with the ideas, because it's great also if you're doing journal work and you can pick up a card, read the meaning that's in that's in the booklet that comes with it, and you can then think, oh, does that relate to anything that's going on in my life? And then any thoughts that come up as a result of reading the meaning, capture those, because if you start to journal those and use journaling as a process, and you do that every day, then you can start to see any themes or any dreams or insights. And then in a month's time, you can look back on what you've been writing. And often we forget what we've been thinking about and reflecting on. And then we'll go back to that and say, oh, yeah, I had a dream about that. I remember that. Oh, and that connects with that. So sometimes it's insight, sometimes it's our brain just doing the job that it needs to do so that we can, live our day-to-day life, and it processes stuff. So I'm doing that one card, one message a day. So it doesn't matter what day you look at that message. But similarly, I'm pulling a card, it has a message, I write the description at the bottom of the video. And then if you read that and think, oh, yeah, that's actually what I've been thinking about and that's going on in my life, then think about what else I'm sharing related to that, because I'm not just reading the meaning in the card book that comes with it. I'm also gathering from any of the experiences I've had over the last 25 years of working in mental health and well-being, in psychology and spirituality, using philosophy and a whole range of different modalities at my disposal. And because we're all different, we'll be going through different phases and need different things. But what I want to say about the online tarot is be really mindful about constantly listening to it, because there's sort of three different ways of looking at this. One is the oracle and the tarot can give you some deeper understanding to what's already existing in your life, a problem that you're focusing on. But then what you do with the information and how you choose to focus on that and how drawn you get into that reader's interpretation of those cards can move your mind in a direction that doesn't serve you as well. If you have listened to any people that talk about timelines, for example, then the idea is that, by us thinking about a particular outcome that we think is going to happen or has happened, or we get into this whole narrative in our head, we're kind of inviting ourselves to stay down that track. It's like coming off the motorway and you've got three lanes that take you in four directions. So each direction is an outcome. And we listen to one person, it'll take us down that outcome. We listen to someone else, it takes us down that outcome. It doesn't mean to say that outcome is always the ending to the narrative or the story, but it just means that we can get off track with listening to someone else's interpretation rather than starting to tune in and listen to our own. And that's why I'm always professing to share why it's so valuable to even just practice time out and having some mindfulness, even if you don't do. Sorry, I'm on these chairs and they're just really annoying to sit on. I've got my most comfy chair, but it's in the garden. It's gone really dark. I can't be bothered bringing that in. So the cards that I just pulled when I'm doing the lives is I choose 3 cards. And I'm using, at the moment, the deck is Colette Baron-Reid. And the reason I'm pulling 3 cards, because it's almost like there's a beginning, a middle, and a potential outcome. And I've pulled them in this way a few times, and it's quite interesting as to what story emerges. And this set of cards, if you listen to the live that I did, I'll name it the Peaks of Joy, Goblins and Cleaning the House in the title, then you'll see that we're talking about how your inner thoughts, your inner critic, your inner parent that can be critical towards you, whether that's external or internally, can really cause you some problems. And the next card was about cleaning the house, and that's about mentally clearing out mental clutter, the old thoughts, the old programs, the things that on that pleasant state to yourself, and move to a place of being more loving and kind to yourself. And then you do that work and you'll start to experience moments of joy. So that's peaks of joy. So I'll go much more deeper into these cards that I just pulled in the previous session. So like I said, I'll call that Cleaning House, Goblins and Peaks of Joy in the title. I'll put those cards. So what I'm going to do now is talk about the other decks I've got. Now there are, I don't know, maybe thousands, definitely hundreds of decks, and we're drawn to different ones. And the ones I was using in the Mind, Body and Spirit show. So I think anyone that's listened to any of my videos knows that 3 years ago I stopped working for my regular job, started doing some independent individual client work. So I'm a psychotherapist, counsellor, coach, and I've been in mental health and wellbeing for over 25 years. But I also trained in yoga and meditation in 2019 after a serious car accident. And I started changing track more fully after my last job, because it was just constant stress, constantly managing lots of different things. And I wanted to open up an avenue to do more things that my heart was feeling connected to. So I started teaching some yoga sessions at the Kent Wellbeing Festival. I've delivered some workshops there on creating, I think it was about creating your destiny. And now my main central bit of work is around creating a soul-led life, one that is filled with different things that you love and enjoy. But I've also had stalls at these events, and that's so I'm just going to put the timestamp for the events and other tarot. So at these mind, body, and spirit events, I've always got, you know, psychics, tarot readers, sell lots of the oracle cards. And like I said, I'm not doing it for divination to say, you know, if you do this, this is what's going to happen next. But I would often use this one because lots of people who go to the wellbeing festivals also are interested in the archangels, the angels, God, source, spirituality, yoga, sound healing, going to talks about people having awakenings, things like that. So these cards are particularly useful to sort of, they've got, again, it's one message on the card. You can pull several cards, but when I'm meeting people at an event, it's nice just to pull one card, have a chat and see what comes up. So for anyone who tunes in now, then this card could relate to anything at all that you are experiencing. And this is giving you a demonstration on the different cards. So this one that I'm using now is the Archangel's Gemstone Guardian cards. Oh God, it's this mirror. It's like it's doing the opposite. That's why it's hard to know. And that's again, oh no, that's Margaret and Lembo. And basically, each card is connected with a crystal. Let's pull out one that you're going to be able to see online. Azurite. So there's a crystal and there's a message. And if you resonate with the message, then the archangel and the mantra at the back will help you if that's your struggle. So this card is Azurite. And the message is, do you want to improve and trust your intuition? Which is interesting because in the previous conversation I had was about helping people not just consider about the information that comes externally from other people, but how we need to open up and use mindfulness and space and to activate our gifts, our awarenesses, so that we can tap in to a wider sort of collection of information, or even just our intuition, to put it short. So the archangel with this is Raziel. So if this is something that you'd like to do more, connect with Archangel Raziel, and you have a statement, and that I'll use this. I'll put this in the thumbnail, or I'll take a picture, and I think I can add it to the description. And Archangel Raziel says, this is what you can repeat to yourself. I am extremely intuitive. My spirit guides and angels send me messages all the time. I'm grateful for divine guidance. My mind is clear and all my knowledge is available. I awaken to consciousness. I am calm. I am at peace. So maybe what I'll do is just write that down. So if you'd like to expand and connect more with your intuition, become more discerning, and not just rely heavily on the sources out there, then this would be a good card and a good crystal, Azurite, to utilize. There are other crystals that will also help you do the same thing. But if anything, now we're in such uncertain times with so many changes going on in human history and the advent of AI and the changes in all sorts of industries, that it's a really strong time now. It's a real must that we start being able to connect with our intuition and find our way forward. So I'm only going to pull that one card for this session today because I wanted to give you an idea of that pack. So sometimes I'll pull the gemstone cards. On all the daily ones at the moment is Raise Your Vibration by Carl Gray. So they're all the one card, one messages that take us through to the end of August, and I will start that again in September. And the ones I'm using for 3-card session is the map. And this is great because you can get this yourself and you can think about something that you're struggling with, and you pull the cards and it will have the upright, and it's also worth reading the reverse version of the card. And that will help you see whether or not you're struggling with that particular thing. And if you pull 3 cards, it can sometimes say, okay, if you do X, Y, and Z, this will help you get the result that you want, or to feel better, feel stronger, more resilient. So I'm going to put those cards back in there. I read them out in the positive. I don't read the reverse for this session because I'm also helping people understand how you start connecting with any information that's coming from any direction. So I'm going to show you one more pack. I'm going to have a drink of water. I've gone really thirsty. Right, is my mic still on? Let's check. Yes, because I've had light problems, mic problems. So now, 15 minutes in, we're now going to talk about the good tarot. So I've got more cards, but because I'm away, I mean, my card just is barely moving with the weight anyway. So I could probably get a few more packs, but I didn't want to bring everything with me. So the good tarot, again, is Colette Baron-Reid, and she's now doing, well, not now, but she's done lots of times, different courses. But this is the classical tarot gets a modern twist in this gorgeous deck rooted in positive psychology and personal transformation. The suits are the 4 elements: air, water, earth, and fire, and the 78 cards are read as archetypal aspects of human experience that we may encounter in ourselves or in the world. Unlike most decks, the card messages are not forecasts or warnings, but positive affirmations in the now, so that you can integrate the energy immediately and personally. Traditional tarot enthusiasts can also use this deck as their favorite spread. So, like she said, it's not for divination, it switched it, so it's using positive psychology so that you get the message of the card straight away rather than a long explanation after the meaning of the card. So I'm going to pull maybe one at a time, might do 2. I'll see for time because I want to go on to talking about Simple Life, the podcast that I've been watching, and some updates. So the card that I pull, so whoever's going to tune into this may resonate with it. This card is the 3 of fire. Not so. Oh yeah, the imagery is better on this one. Right, let me see if I can straighten it up. I need some mirror work. So whenever you look at Oracle and the cards, look at the colours, look at what stands out to you. What's happening is a movement, is a status. So there's movement in this, and fire is the igniter. So the ignition. The ignition in the van switches up the petrol, gets the van started, or in my case, it doesn't. Or the cooker has an igniter. So the 3 of fire, let's see what it says about fire. So 3 of fire is expansion of opportunities, a fullness of creativity and achievement. So if you want an expansion of opportunities and a fullness of creativity and achievement, tune in to the 3 of fire. This is another way to do it. So you can look at the card, tune into the colours. There's lots of lilac and blue. And then I keep thinking he's in a shell, which is like a boat. Maybe it is a shell. Maybe it is a shell. I don't know. And there is symbols in there, but this side's got better details inside my cataracts, but the other one hasn't. And so the mantra to go with this from positive psychology is, I am on the right path towards my success. I have an abundance of opportunities before me. I need to be true to trust myself, but I can make choices for myself and co-create situations and relationships that are in harmony with the heart's desire. Now, what's interesting is if we connect that to the previous card, that was about developing your intuition. And this is saying if you trust that, you can move to your heart's desire. So we're pulling from different decks, but it's how you can start to build up a theme or a story. So tune in again and let's see what comes out. The Page of Earth. Don't know what that is. Sorry, I had a message come through. That's the only thing with these messages that pop up. So the Page of Earth. There's a name for those in mythology, isn't there? Because it's not a butterfly. It's like a boy with... So it's very misty. He's got some tools in his hand, which I cannot see. Wings. So let's see what Colette says. The Page of Earth. So this is how I do it. Have a look. I see what is ignited in me when I read the meaning. I don't do it with all the cards, but sometimes I find it hard to connect with the imagery. So I think the page is at the beginning. Yes. So the message for this is commitment to prosperity, first signs of tangible success, undeniable evidence that hard work will pay off, dreams grounded in reality, start of a new project. So if you are wanting to move into making your dreams manifest, starting a new project, some new ideas that you're putting together, this is a good sign to move ahead. So the mantra to use with this is everything starts with a plan, and I am beginning to see the results that generate prosperity. I am a doer and I get to make my own decisions. I have the ability to attract what I need. So I was talking in the last video about how there's a plethora of podcast advice and information out there, but a lot of us are guilty of listening to lots of different things and not really doing anything with the information. And so whether that's health advice, whether it's business advice, whether it is, you know, I go online and I see a lot of yoga teachers who are trying to sort some practical difficulties out, whether that's with the platforms. So sometimes we just have to choose a platform and try it. We have to try and create a website. I mean, I've regurgitated mine several times. I've used Facebook and Instagram as platforms. Sometimes we just have to try different things. So we need a plan. And in that trial and error, so I'm just pulling that because that popped out, we start to generate what seems to work for us, what doesn't, and what might be redundant. So we've got the Page of Fire again, which is really interesting. So it's almost like the character has got lots of planets around them. It's got a helmet on, and I don't know if that's someone with them. I do struggle to see these cards well. We shall see when I get my second cataract taken out as to if it's my eyes or not. So the Page of Fire is enthusiastic action, adventurous, venturing forth, beginning a project, acting on a new idea. So again, that's moving forward into the idea of moving on a project and acting on an idea. So the mantra to use for this is I am free to venture forth for co-creating a life true to my desire in my right. Oh, is my right. I am finding my purpose and I take the first steps into something new. My ideas have value and I dream boldly. So like that, I'm going to put that to one side and take pictures of those. So that's the Oracle, and I just wanted to give you an introduction. Lots of Oracle and Tarot readers will do it differently, and I quite like the ones who bring their own philosophy and understanding and wisdom, as well as using the cards. And we will connect with different people. I've got a couple of my favourites I've always tuned into and listened to because I just like their style. I like their wisdom. You can tell they've got years of experience and understanding. So look out now. Every day, one card, one message with Cal Grey cards. And then I'm going to try and do another live tomorrow night because I'd like to get people on different time zones. And if you want to ask any questions for any things that I talk about, that'd be great. in terms of setting that up. So I'm going to log off and then log back on because I'm going to talk about my current trip.